Hey guys, you see the title? We're getting into it today. It's been a while since I uploaded some stuff. Hey, look, I'm handling some business in the background. And we're going to get back to track and field here. So, look, you see the title. Can Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Elaine Thompson-Herah, or any other athletes that are under Trike's pay, under their sponsorship, can they actually go somewhere else? Do they have a chance to go somewhere else? And maybe you guys are gonna misinterpret this. So, but remember, this was another one. What if they were dropped? What if they were dropped? And as you can see here, what do you expect? So here's the end card in the upper hand right hand corner. And then what about Elaine Thompson-Herah leaving? Right? What if she leaves Trike? What if she goes somewhere else? What does that do for her? So y'all know about this. Y'all know how I do it. I take a slightly different approach on some things. So don't forget to kiss the diamond. That means subscribe, like, comment, and most importantly, share this video with others. I know Facebook was crying and their site went down, but hey, we gonna get into it. Look, today we got some nervous conversation going on, but don't forget that if you support our channel, you are watching Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And this channel is supported by viewers like yourself that watch these ads, support us here. And check in the description for Patreon, the OpenSea, Cash App, Chime Sign, and PayPal in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into this. Now, what do I mean by Trike might be trapping them, or they might be trapped by Trike? Well, let's go over some of the evidence here. Right. First, let's look at the tracks, right? So, if we're going to look here at the track surfaces, remember we got Mondo. They are not the only company. People, for lack of a better term, they just say Mondo when they refer to that. That's like when people say Trike when they talk about shoes. Like, you know, sporting shoes. They even might call something tennis shoes. You know that term? So remember, Mondo here. I want to just point something out very, very quickly here. We're going to go breeze right through it. 30 seconds. So the Mondo Track WS. They said that was Mondo's newest track. Remember, this is 2018. So now it's Mondo Track WSTY for Tokyo. Okay, that's what was used this year. But Doha had a version of this that was used in the Rio Olympic Games. You see it right here. You might have to zoom in. When I try to zoom in, it really doesn't work on this right here. Let's see if it does work. Oh, okay, here it is. So, Mondo Track Rio Games, right? Okay, before that, they were using Mondo Track, the Beijing and London, okay? So that was a different track. I keep trying to tell people about these, but they didn't realize that the Rio track all the way up to Doha, those were different tracks than the ones that were used in Beijing and London, okay? Now, the Super X720. Now, that one was used on different tracks. It doesn't say which one. Now, the Super X Performance, that was used for the past 30 years. So maybe we can... Versions of those were used at the last championship. That could have been Atlanta. That could have been Sydney, Athens. Could have been any types of things. We don't necessarily know. But here's something I want to point out here to you guys, okay? Let's look at my notes here. Now, look at this. There's another surface here. Oh, wait. Okay, Recordton. That's a track surface company. Then we got PlexiTrack. Now, I'm not going to be here advertising all of them, so I'm not going to go all over them. But I am going to go over the one that's in Oregon, right? Here's Oregon. Binance Sports. Binance Sports Surfaces. Now, this is a lot of the universities that are in the NCAA, and University of Oregon uses this. That's where they pour it on. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because we're going to go into Crybaby Vorholm in just a second. Look at him. Crybaby Vorholm. I'm going to have to call him that. No other disrespect to it, but I mean, he's kind of whining. I mean, Usain Bolt's whining about the thing. At the end of the day, track and field, shoes, spikes, all the stuff, the surfaces they try to improve. I just want to see fast times. But look, let's think of it this way. So Vorholm is saying it's BS and whatnot. Now, didn't he run on a quote-unquote trampoline track? Didn't they call that a trampoline track? But then he's talking about trampoline effects in the foam shoes. Now, I forgot where that was on here, but here's his exact quote, and I want to zoom into this because this goes straight into this. Now, remember, he set the world record, and he's wearing Luma. You know, that other company, right? The other company. The other companies other than Trike. Trike's the other company too. Here he is, quote, "If you put a trampoline there, I think it's bullish," said Vorholm. Continuing, "I think it takes credibility away from our sport. I don't see why you should put anything beneath a sprinting shoe." Okay. All right, Vorholm. Aren't you using... Now, here, they always like to use the word doping in this. Why is it called tech doping now? They putting Benjamin and tech doping. Man, what is this? We can't escape it in track and field. Until we start having some other drama, like a Richardson coming in talking about, you know, caddy issues and whatnot, and guys talking about big egos and whatnot, we gonna keep having all of these quote-unquote fake controversies. But here, just like this person said, Vorholm is not a fan of sprinter spikes containing air pods or lots of foam. Luma worked with Mercedes, and he and his coach developed the carbon plate in his. If you put a trampoline in there, I think it's BS, and I think it takes credibility. The irony, okay? Now, this is what he said beyond it. And the reason why I'm saying this is I'm going to wrap up my point here shortly. Quote, "What I can say about the shoes that I've been developing in collaboration with Puma," I said their name, Mercedes Formula One and the Mercedes Formula One team, is that we're trying to make them as credible as they can be, end quote, Vorholm said. Continuing, "Yes, we have a carbon plate, but we have tried to make it as thin as possible because that's the way I would like to do it. Of course, technology will always be there, but I want to keep it down to a level where we can actually compare results. That's important," end quote. Okay, now I got to say Nike just because I accidentally said the other company. Now look, what? So the shoes before it didn't have the advantage of having a carbon plate, but you say I want to quote unquote make it as thin as possible. Okay, now let's just say something here. How are the ladies here? Because you see Trike, then it's Luma. Isn't she a Trike sponsor athlete? But most of the top list is it a coincidence that they have these Trike shoes, or is it that they have the shoes and now that's helping them? Remember that one distance athlete ran the 3,000 steeplechase at the American USA trials? He was sponsored by, I think he was sponsored by Adidas or something. Then he put on some Nike shoes. Well, they quickly dropped them. It could have been New Balance, but I forget what sponsor he had. But he put on some Nike shoes. He didn't make the team, so he did a risk. Didn't even make the U.S. Olympic team and lost the sponsorship money. What a big fat L. You get an L, sir. Okay? You got an L. So, what does this mean here? Where is Elaine Thompson-Herah gonna go? Right? Where is she going to go? If she loses, oh, wait a minute. Wait. Let's do one more thing right here. Let's do one more thing right here. Why is it not showing on the screen? Here it is. Now, here are the other super spikes. Now, they're talking about this. He says, when I look at the 1500, I think 2 to 3 seconds faster. So Trike said, hey, they've all been there, right? They've all been there. Where's Burns at? But you guys get the point. I'm not even going to bring this one up anymore. That's a dead point. Basically, on this article, they got Trike executives coming out saying, hey, look, the technology that we put together, the foam, the carbon plate, and the other portion of the shoe, they've all been there. We were just better. That's what they said. And I'm like, what ego? I love it. I love it. They're at the top. And they can. This is why I say Elaine and all these other people at the top, I want to see the ego. They say, hey, we did it better than everybody else. They got to catch up. It's not us that got to slow down. It's them that have to catch up. And I loved it when I read that. I was like, man, here we go. They flaunting out their technology. Now, this could be a glorified advertisement for them. Hey, look, right, when they talk about all this controversy, which is what I think it is, and you could say that mine is an advertisement, but hey, I'm covering this stuff. Now, what is Elaine Thompson-Herah going to do? Now, if she goes over from her specialized track spike that helped her Achilles problem, and then she goes to a new sponsor, you all are saying, go to Puma, and everything, right? What if she does go to Puma, right? Are those spikes as good as the Nike spikes? Let me just ask y'all an honest question. Where's she gonna go? Remember when the sponsors made Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce stay with MVP longer than she wanted? She wanted to leave in 2015. But then they said, no, you stay here. What did she do? She nodded her head. She said yes, and she stayed. Begrudgingly. But she had to stay. What? They could have said, hey, look, we could drop you right now. And then she said, well, okay, I don't want to be dropped. But then after she had a baby, she might have just said, okay, y'all could drop. You could drop me all you want. You could drop me all you want, and I'm still going to leave. I'm going to go to where I want to go. And then they said, you know what? You're doing really good right now. We're going to keep you. She called the bluff. But maybe the first time they could have said behind the scenes, look, we going to drop your behind. We're going to drop your booty here. Trying to keep it PG. We're going to drop your booty. And you can go out there and you can use they spikes and see how fast you run. See if you keep running the times, because we got the juice. We got the sauce. You come with us. Sure. That maybe that's what it is. Okay? Because if they're going 1.5 to 2% faster, put that in the calculator, 1.5 to 2%. If you do a 1.5 to 2%, energy efficiency, combine that with these quote-unquote trampoline tracks and all of these tracks that are improving, then that can explain why some of these athletes are getting faster as they're getting older, or at least maintaining their speed. Now, what Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is also able to do, so this is the factor here, she's still able to beat the other opponents. So obviously, it's more than just the shoe. We got to keep that in mind. But we have to remember these times. Now, here's the curious case of Shericka Jackson, Carson Verhoeven, Sydney McLaughlin, because she's a New Balance, right? I'm trying to say some of the brands because I accidentally said, Luma earlier, so I'm trying to be fair and say them a couple of times here. But look, they ain't paying me, so I ain't gonna say them that often. But look, Shericka Jackson, she doesn't have those. But what happens? Do y'all think that how much of an advantage are the Trike shoes? Because, yeah, Jackson, do you think, here's a better question. Do you think Shericka Jackson will run faster in the Trike shoes? Nothing else changes. Same coach, same everything else. But that she puts on these Trike shoes, do you think she will run faster? And how much faster do you think she would run in the 100? Forget the other stuff. Just think about the 100. How much do you think she would improve? If all of the controversy is around Trike, and then Verhoeven, crybaby Verhoeven, I got to call the world record holder crybaby, because really, to be honest, I don't see the real issue here. Now, this is just a difference of opinion. Same thing with Usain Bolt. I wouldn't necessarily call him a crybaby because he's not really competing. I mean, he could say whatever he wants, right? But I don't agree with him saying, hey, it's unfair or whatever. Like, boo-hoo, it's unfair. Everybody else is doing it. The other companies are now developing. Just like what Trike said in that article I decided not to put up. They said, basically, it was a blessing that the Olympics did not occur in 2020 because it would have been a joke. I was like, whoa. The Burns, one of the executives, they said, yeah, it would have been a joke. Like, they lucked out because they had an extra year to catch up. Because when these spikes were released and people in 2019 were wearing them, right, in certain athletes. Now, that's the part I didn't like, because they were experimenting. They were like, all right, we're going to experiment with our top athlete. What? So you you could be sponsored by Trike, but you weren't the athlete they chose. And basically, you were set up to lose. Are they going to give you extra money because now you just lost, and now the other sponsors that you could have got, you didn't get, right? You get what I'm saying? So, do you guys agree or disagree? I think, here's my ultimate opinion on all of this. Let's take this off the screen. Get off the screen, Verhoeven. But congratulations on that world record. Like, you wearing Lumas. Now, this is my speculation with him. actually, let me say this last thing. This is my speculation. When he starts to slow down because of his age and stuff, I think that carbon plate's going to get thicker. I think he's going to start inserting foam in there. You know why? One of the things might be because his sponsors tell him to do it. The other one is he wants to keep winning. I mean, Carl Lewis went vegan so that he could stop himself from slowing down and that he could start transferring back over to the long jump and medal and get those gold medals that he did. So he stopped himself from slowing down in the 100 a little bit. Now, if he would have went vegan earlier, it probably would have, delayed it even more. But people are looking for every legal advantage that they can get. And there is nothing against the rules for them. Now, here's something I want to say here for the people that are lasting this far into this video, because I can tell some people are watching or not, because I'm about to put something on the screen and I'm like, yeah, if you don't, some people are going to mention it, some people aren't. Look, this is my opinion on it. I am starting, when I'm looking at the data, now, these are Trike sponsored, quote unquote, independent researchers that are sponsored by not Trike, right? Of course, I know this in the food industry too. It's very hard to get data that's fair and even. That's why I found out that being vegan, whole food, plant-based is better, because you actually get independent ones that are not sponsored by these meat companies that want to make you a certain way, right? So, because you get completely different results. And it's not because they want to keep getting their money. Now, if we take that with a grain of salt here, and we look at these athletic performances and do realize that, oh, wow, some of these athletes could still beat somebody with Trike shoes on, right? Even with the Trike shoes, even if they're better, that tells me if those athletes, if these Trike shoes, starting with that argument, are that good compared to everybody else's, man, those other athletes will be running a lot faster. Or the other way around. They might not have won without, or they might just be a little bit less talented. That's the argument that they're basically making here, if these shoes are there. But let's just say, are they trapped? Oh, wait a minute, this is the wrong one anyway. Are they trapped? Are they trapped? I think yes, to a certain extent. I think they are trapped for a certain extent. Why? Because Trike specifically developed a specialized shoe for Elaine Thompson-Herah to help her with her Achilles problem. I don't know how quickly someone can develop a specialized shoe. Do they develop it before you finalize the agreement? Because Luma would be taking a risk to put resources in a shoe for Shelly or Elaine Thompson-Herah, and then she doesn't come over, right? And she doesn't finalize that, right? Because they'd be talking behind the scenes, of course. How long would they have been developing it? Did she get to test it out? How do you know that's going to work in the same way that the Trike shoe is, right? So those are the risks that Elaine Thompson-Herah is trapped in. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, she's more or less quote-unquote trapped because of the aforementioned, hey, they said basically probably behind the scenes. Now, this is speculation. I don't know that they could have dropped her. But here's our next topic that's coming up soon, because this has been, I guess, a series talking about Trike and whatnot. Now, for all of these trampoline tracks, and if all of this is true, and if we believe 100% of what the companies are giving out to us, but let's just say that they are generally improving them. We don't have to believe the exact percentages, but they've been improving them since the lady on your screen has ran, right? This is telling me with a trampoline track, with super spikes, whatever they're calling them, all the names they're giving them, if all of this is true, and several iterations of improvements, that tells me the talent that was there in this woman is just that much better. Even when the record gets broken, I'm still going to be like, wow. At the very least, the 200. Even if you don't want to say the 100 is legitimate, and based on the 200 time, I got to say that 100 does look more or less probably legitimate, okay? About a non-wind assisted time. We just don't know how much wind assist she got. It was very unlikely it was 0. It might be legal, but we don't know. But the 200, okay, 200 at the very least makes it legal. I'm going to cover a video on this specific one, and it's going to come up soon. If it is already there, you're going to see the end card here. But if you're seeing this on the day that I created this or very shortly thereafter, you will not see the suggested video. But beware, I am going to come up with that soon, talking about the talent that she had. And before y'all say drug cheat, drug cheat, drug cheat, man, so many other athletes have been doing drug cheat and they ain't run nowhere near as fast. So if you just assume that she was and didn't get caught, well, other people around that same time in different countries all over the planet were using them and they still couldn't catch up. You got drug cheats after her. Look at Okabari, got confirmed with that. Can't, with super spikes on, super trampoline tracks, can't run as fast. So cut it out before you say drug cheat, drug cheat. It ain't that, it couldn't give you that much advantage. That means everybody that was using enhancers afterward can't catch up. Wow, that's talent. That's talent. Now, I don't assume she was on drugs because they didn't prove it. So I don't personally care, actually. But that's what I got to say. You've been watching a Head and Shoulders ATR production, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. Smash that like button, share. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.